and I want to say thank you to our veterans, active duty military, and first responders for serving our great nation. You're listening to The Chris Carlisle Show, hosted by me, Chris Carlisle. And welcome to this week's episode of The Chris Carlisle Show. I'm Chris, by the way. This week I want to tell you about going to the Columbia School of Broadcasting's Houston office after I graduated from high school. I stayed with my dad while I went there. I learned about doing commercials, newscasts, DJ shows, sports play-by-play. The office even had a mock-up of radio station control rooms, one for AM and one for FM. I went there from May of 1988 to January of 1989. I did go home a few times. I went to an Astros game. My mom came down and took me to one. I saw Nolan Ryan start for the Astros. My dad took me to some movies. We went and saw the movies Crocodile Dundee 2 and Tucker Man in His Dream. I also listened to the Astros games on the radio and watched them on television. I also listen to different stations in Houston on both news and talk and music. AM still had a lot of music stations. Talk radio hadn't really taken off back then. The main news stations were KPRC and KTRH. On KPRC, they had some local programs. One was hosted by Doug Johnson, longtime weatherman back then at KPRC TV, Channel 2. On one show, and also a KILT, longtime music station, also began airing talk shows on one show. I forget which one it was or which station it was on. It had a man named George McFarland who played Spanky in the old Our Gang shorts. Also listened to music stations Killed FM, KQE, and K-Light. And then an oldie station, I forget which frequency was it on. Anyway, elsewhere, back then, George Bush was elected president. He was the first sitting vice president to be elected president since Martin Van Buren in 1936. He and running mate Dan Quayle, senator from Indiana, beat the Democrat ticket of Governor Michael Dukakis from Massachusetts and Texas Senator Lloyd Bentsen. Senator Bentsen was also up for re-election for his Senate seat, and he was re-elected. He was able to run after a law was passed in around the 60s, enabled then Senator Lyndon Johnson to run for re-election for his Senate seat, which was up the same year he ran for vice president as John F. Kennedy's running mate. The Space Shuttle Discovery lifted off in September on the first shuttle flight since the 1986 Challenger disaster. In sports, the Los Angeles Lakers won the NBA title. The Los Angeles Dodgers won the World Series. The 49ers won the Super Bowl in January of '89. Earl Horsizer broke the scoreless inning streak in Major League Baseball that had previously been held by fellow Dodger pitcher Don Drysdale, who by that time was a broadcaster for the Dodgers working with Vin Scully. Notre Dame won the national title in college football. The first Die Hard movie was released. The movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit was released. The movie Twins was released with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was Schwarzenegger's first comedy movie. The movie Big with Tom Hanks was released. It cost $4 to go to a movie. They also started filming the Batman movie. Ted Turner bought a wrestling promotion, Jim Coggett Promotions, which became WCW. Now page 2. Also watched the Olympics from Seoul. The USA finished third in the medal count. The first night game was played at Chicago's Wrigley Field, and the Cubs beat the New York Mets 6-4. Pedro Delgado from Spain won the Tour de France. Seve Ballesteros won the British Open. Stefan Edberg and Steffi Graf won at Wimbledon. Pro wrestler Bruiser Brody was stabbed to death in the locker room at an arena before a match in Puerto Rico. I got to see him wrestle, by the way, in 1986. The Mabry Center in Temple, Texas. In other wrestling news, the WWF had its first ever SummerSlam event. On Discovery Channel, they had the first Shark Week. I think they just had Shark Week. Live with Regis, or is it this week? I don't know. Anyway, Live with Regis and Kathy Lee premiered in syndication. It was shown in Houston on Channel 13, which is also their ABC affiliate down there. I watched the Christmas special, A Very Brady Christmas, on CBS. The original Brady Bunch was on ABC, as was their variety show back in the 70s. The short-lived series, The Brady Brides, was on NBC, and now this one was on CBS. Also that year, in a phone poll, readers of DC Comics voted to kill off Jason Todd, who had replaced Dick Grayson as Robin in Batman. I came home at one point because it looked like a Hurricane Gilbert was heading to Galveston after causing damage in the Caribbean, like Jamaica and other islands. Eventually it went into Mexico. Pan Am Flight 103 blew up over Scotland after a bomb went off. Libya is suspected of being involved. Barry Sanders from Oklahoma State won the Heisman Trophy. The character of Barney the Dinosaur debuted on home video, which would become popular with children in the 90s. I watched the NFL playoff game between the Chicago Bears and the Philadelphia Eagles that was played in Fog, which is known as the Fog Bowl. The Bears won the game 20-12. The Last Emperor won the Oscar for Best Picture for 1987. The Arsenio Hall Show premiered, as did the Pat Sajak Show on CBS. Sajak left Wheel of Fortune to become the host. And now page 3. Here's a story from my Chicken Soup for the Soul book. It's called Bittersweet Victory. In it, a woman writes about her husband finding their dog at a free puppy giveaway. He told her the dog came running to him when he called him. They let their son Scott name him, and he named him Rocky. Rocky was a good dog, but often got into stuff. One day she got a call at her job from the manager of her apartment that they lived in. The lady told her that Rocky was barking up a storm, so she left her work and went home. When she got there, she saw Rocky sprawled on the floor exhausted. Pieces of her plant were all over the floor next to the dog. The plant was missing so many leaves it looked like a vine. She stepped inside and looked at the damage. It was so terrible, it was funny, and she started laughing. She bent down and petted Rocky, and he had dirt all over him. She finished by saying that when Rocky would often run by the plant, its movement would cause it to flutter and wave, which caused him to growl at it. Looks like he had pulled it down and tore it up. And there was the story of an old country music star, Roy Acuff and the Smoky Mountain Boys. Acuff was born in 1907 in Tennessee. He became a musician after he failed to make the Knoxville Smokies, a minor league affiliate of the New York Giants. He went around as a singer with Dr. Howard's Medicine Show in the early 1930s. He was joined by Jess Easterby, who played with the guitar, mandolin, and bass, with Cecil Summer, who played the dobro and the guitar. He was from Hawaii, and they formed the Tennessee Cracker Jacks. And now page 4. Samuel was originally from Tennessee and was born in 1914. He performed as cousin Jody before he joined the group. He became the first person to play the dobro on the Grand Ole Opry in 1938. Easterby was born in 1912, also in Tennessee. He worked with Acuff from 1934 to 1942, again in 1947, and in the 1950s. The Tennessee Cracker Jacks gained a following playing on radio stations WROL and WNOX in Knoxville, Tennessee. They later added bassist Frank Jones, who went by the name Red, and they changed their name to the Crazy Tennesseans. Now, slap basses had replaced tubas in dance band sessions, and Jones had been the first to record one with a string bean band from the Southeast. He later left the group because of creative differences with Acuff. Another to remember was Sunny Day. Day was born Francis Jacob Tambourine in West Virginia in 1924. He played the accordion and played with Acuff at the Opry in the 1940s. He also played with Minnie Pearl, Patsy Cline, Tanya Tucker, and Vince Gill. One of the group's hit songs were The Great Speckled Bird and The Wabash Cannonball, which Acuff continued to sing for the rest of his career, especially at the Grand Ole Opry. They made their Opry debut in 1938 and took the name the Smoky Mountain Boys. They were a big hit with listeners, and Acuff became one of the Opry's first stars. Another dobro player, Beecher Kirby, who went by the name Bashful Brother Oswald, replaced Sammy. He was born in 1911 and was inducted into the Opry as a solo act in 1995. Easterby switched to bass when Jones left the group. Vocalist Rachel Veach and bass player Velma Williams were later added to the group. Now page 5. Easterby made a rare appearance in the 1960s, and he died in 1974. Summery died in 1975 of cancer. Day died in 2005. Acuff went on to form Acuff Rose Publishing with Fred Rose in 1942, and they signed Hank Williams in 1946. He ran for governor in Tennessee in 1948 as a Republican. Earlier on, he had been insulted by the Democrat governor. He would go on to lose the election. Of course, that's back when in the South, most Republicans couldn't get elected dog catcher. Later on, he was in a group of musicians who sang the title song on the album Will the Circle Be Unbroken by the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. He continued to perform in the Grand Ole Opry, often singing the Wabash Cannonball. He even showed President Richard Nixon how to yo-yo. He received a Kennedy Center Honor Award in 1991, and he passed away the following year. My grandparents went and saw the Opry back in 1976 after my grandfather retired from the Hughes Tool and Die. When they saw him sing heard him sing the Wabash Cannonball. They probably did. Anyway, before I go, here's a tongue twister. It's a classic one. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Well, that'll do it for this week. Thank you for listening. Some acknowledgments here. The story Bittersweet Victory was submitted to the book Chicken Soup for the Soul. Read, Laugh, Repeat, 101 Laugh Out Loud Stories compiled by Amy Newmark. It was submitted by Becky Llewellyn-Povich. Information about the Smoky Mountain Boys came from an article in the Country Music Country Family Reunion Larry's Country Diner newsletter from Claudia Johnson. Well, that'll do it for this week. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Chris, and thank you for listening to my podcast, The Chris Carlisle Show. The Chris Carlisle Show is available on Spreaker. Please leave a like and a review, and also a follow. It's also available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Podchaser, and Podcast Addict. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.